Never Stop Reading.
Heinz, you really deserve a big applause for bringing all this together.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. About the discussion, Ed is leaving in half an hour for the airport. Could we maybe start the discussion with Ed and Mark as a first, like we did in the museum, as a first input, maybe about what you said about this, all those different aspects coming together in a movement?
Yes, of course. I would be happy. Also, if you, I mean, it's a multi-head movement, so every one of you who wants to contribute to the discussion, please come in front.
Yes,
please just do it. Okay, but London, I mean, please say what you think about what I said, or about anything else that is in your mind.
Well, first of all, I'd say you're old enough to be my nephew.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things that Interaction did was the big red media van, the video van. But the most important part of it, in my opinion, was the fact that we had one of the first radio telephones. There were only 18 lines available in the early part of radio telephones. None of you are old enough to remember this, but you had to dial in and ask for a line because there were only 18. But what we did was, the van would pull up making a lot of noise and hullabaloo, and another Heinz here.
Here he is, over there, Heinz Cooper.
Heinz came and worked on the media van. It's unbelievable that from 1972, when the van started, but to me the most important part of the van was not the video, because we were doing video since 1968. But the most important part was the radio telephone, because we would pull up, attract a crowd of people, and then ring the local mayor. And we would show the mayor on video that there were a number of voters present. Needless to say, we never got invited back twice to the same place. However, it did make an impact in the number of cities we visited, and we even brought the media van to Europe, thank goodness. But I understand the theme of this bookshop, or the name of it, is Never Stop Reading. And maybe we should all say to President Trump, please start reading. If you were there earlier, I had a poem, I'm writing a poem a day. It's doggerel, it's very low-level poetry, I can assure you, for President Trump. But if you applaud loudly enough, I'll read it again. Not loud enough. But I just happen to have it here.
Please go for it. It's short.
Yes, it's very short. But I'm writing one a day, so that means that there will be, well, there'll be at least 250 by the time Trump leaves office. I hope. Okay, one of my pseudonyms is Professor R.L. Dog, and I started writing children's poetry thinking I'd become a famous children's poet and go into libraries under the name of Dog R.L. Professor R.L. Dog. So doggerel is my métier. Drain the swamp, revealing the banks and the crocodiles that lurk within them. King Croc likes to smile. His teeth are pearly white. He brushes them with care, and then everyone tastes just right. His smile is skewed, but watch his grin. Look out you don't fall in. I guess a grin and even a smile can mean different things to King Crocodile.
from your perspective as a London community.
Okay, well, I think one of the things I'd like to say is that when we were beginning, very, very few people were actually recording anything. And I think one of the things that's important to me is about keeping the archives, because we now live in a time where there's never been so many digital videos and photographs taken, but no one's keeping them. I'm sure you all have a top drawer somewhere with old discs and drives that you can't use anymore. And I think that I think one of the strange things is that maybe this period of time is in the end going to be one of the least recorded, saved archive. And I think the other thing that's interesting is that even though, the technology that's available now was the dream of people like us at that time, because everything we did was such a struggle to make anything. The idea that you could just film something and then go home and edit it at home, and it wasn't there. But one of the things that's been lost is kind of collective practice and sharing in a way. And even though you can film something and put it online, there's still something missing from that process that was very key to what we were doing, which is people coming together, not only to watch, but actually to make things to collectively. And I think that you're starting to see a time now, I think particularly in this kind of resurgence of a resistance to fascism that we're seeing, but let's call it what it is, in the States, and in other major European countries. It's very clear what's going on. And I think there's a new need for people to come together to use these technologies, not just simply to record things that they see in front of them, but to actually take things further. So hopefully this exhibition and your book might inspire a whole new generation of people to rethink about how they're using these technologies to make a change.
Here. Right on.
Okay, good.
Right on, brother. Right on.
Good. So, and well done, Heinz. And well done you for publishing. Thank you.
No, and what you said is interesting because it's not only recording, but then bringing back to the public, bringing it back in society. And nowadays everybody is recording anything for 3 friends who hate it. And but we really have, cinema and video had this, in a way, almost ridiculous struggle at the beginning. Mm-hmm. If now video still is something that has to be something with the aura of the light coming through the film, and then if there is a social event in audiences in video technique, completely ridiculous, huh? Just power conserving strategy. But it was a real fight then, and now we should maybe fight all these mobile phone users back to common places and back to common screenings of things we do. I remember in the Rote Fabrik how important their certainly small, certainly very minoritarian part of movie and video screening, what they did was. But it was really important for a city like Zurich, which had already there 250,000 inhabitants. It was really important what these people were doing there. And so we in this universum of the whole world of globalization, maybe we really should fight more to be more in the local awareness process again. Because we all, where we are, should possibly make this progressive screenings, gatherings, discussions more.
Mm-hmm. But the phone makes us atomized. We are individualized, which is a great power, but it's also atomized. And if we're not careful, Trump will drop the atom bomb on us. We must be very careful. Sorry to be so jubilant.
No, you're completely right. But instead of blaming us, we should, in fact, do more. Huh?
More doggerel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Are there other cities, other inputs from other activists from then, or from nowadays, or from even older?
Maybe I just would like to tell the story how Heinz and me, we met. He made all the work with the video work. I'm director of Memorias, the organization who is responsible for safeguarding the material. And it was before my time that this organization initiated the safeguarding process. They told those guys, you should safeguard this material for the future. And then Heinz came to me 2 years ago, I think, to tell me, now we have all this material, we should have some Zeitzeugen interviews, and we should find a place to show the material. So we made a list. I used to work in the National Museum in the direction with Andreas Spielmann. So I told him, let's go to the Landesmuseum. He told me, no, you will never be able to enter this big hall there with our video material. And then we talked about other museums, and at the end, it was really the National Museum who said, yes, we want to have this exhibition, and it was thanks to Heinz's diplomatic work to sell this project also, I have to say. And I'm very proud to see that the National Museum and this kind of independent video work came together for this exhibition, and it's a good way to show a broader public this material.
No,
thanks a lot.
Yeah. No, but you're absolutely right. It's a big applause for Heinz. It's also a very good thing that Memorial does these things. It's really important for Switzerland, and it's also very good that they don't have a narrow either documentary or art section division, but that you do something. That's very good. And I personally think the National Museum is exactly the right place for it to be. Because if it were in an art museum in Aarau or in Biel or something, then it's art and nobody really cares. But there's where tourists go in, there's where the families on Easter, no, it's not Easter now, but in autumn weekend they enter and then they see it. So that is really good. So
sometimes
it's really very good.
I have to tell my team, you talked about safeguarding archives. We are very good in safeguarding, but sometimes we forget the public.
Yeah.
And tonight we have some politicians also here, which I'm very happy, because they have to know that also for this we need money, not only to safeguard it, but also to let the public be part of this material and to tell those stories of the past to help us to better understand today and the future. So I'm very happy to make a little step in helping to make this.
Yes, because it actually was the problem. I came to you and said, you have money. and you wanted to do this project. I said, no, I can't give money. Yeah. We only can give money for digitizing and archiving. And here comes in Johannes. Yeah. Johannes has written a text in the book. And he's a specialist for digitizing and archiving. And you in your text, I mean, that goes also to what you said about keeping our own archives. I mean, Johannes in his text actually says how important it is to contextualize what's happening in an archive. You need literature, you need books, you can't just, that's the reason why also in 1980 when I did the first, but in 1980 was the first push for this archive, that we made a book. At that time, because without book, this archive is not really here. So I think
you're also contextualizing the conservation process in a beautiful big book that you will find there at a horrible price. So no, it was made at a time when digitizing was just the way to safeguard, but not the only way, where analog media was still in discussion, maybe not in use anywhere, but we planned this book as a handbook for people who really work with these materials. Now when finally it was published, this was a long time ago, and we said to us, okay, it's a review, huh? It has become a historical book. Huh? I hope that you sell some some exemplars anyway.
But maybe we could lower the price now and then. It's one of the freakiest book we've ever published.
Okay.
It was completely done with Swiss Institute of Art.
Yes.
Kunstwissenschaft. And it's called what? It's
Compendium der
Bildstörung, and you all look in video. So it's a compendium of image errors in analog video. It's a book, a wonderful book, and it's about €200 or so. It's the sales price.
No, 120.
Okay, €120 is the sales price that the Swiss Art Institute gave the book, because they had to give to all the millionaire sponsors some
It's
kind
also
of
funded by
things.
my project of the Bundesamt für Kultur.
But it's a wonderful book, actually. It's one of the best books ever.
It had very good reviews, and as I know, it is used worldwide in specialized universities and courses for conservation of visual media.
So if you need a copy, you just have to write.
Another thing we
10 euros.
10 euros.
10.
Yeah.
Do I hear lower? 8? 6?
10. 10 is for the shipping.
That is a good price.
Too much.
I mean, you have been talking about all those different elements of the video movement coming together. And there's another aspect which I was always very keen to explore, and where we have people here in this room who can talk more expertly about it. And it's the fact, what did actually this video movement have to do with the urban development? It is also sometimes called the video movement of the 70s and 80s was a social movement. This is one possibility, and the other is one is actually calling it an urban movement. And this may be, I think, Ricky and Christian, Philippe, and you have been actually working on this for so many years. Where do you see actually the implications of this video movement for urban development and also for urban research?
I mean, the good thing is very often urban development is seen as something that architects are doing and planners. And sometimes maybe you have some, especially in Switzerland, of course, you have always a vote, so then you have also these kind of processes. But usually it's not seen as something that the people are doing. And I think what at least parts of these videos showed was precisely the how people started to engage for their own city in everyday life, and how it became a collective process. So it's not only to make videos is a collective process, but also, of course, to make cities is a collective process, and it should be. And I think that is, I think in that direction, these movements, in many, many ways, those squatting movements or autonomous movements, or the movement in Italy of 77, or the movement of the 80s and later, all these movements in a certain way try to not only propose but produce a different urban space. And in that, what video, in that context, video played different roles. So one role was, of course, a medium of activation, so of mobilization. So this was one aspect, like to the brand, was kind of heavily mobilizing video. But there were also possibilities to use video as a means of reflection, of discussion, that video became part of different groups. That was, and here the point is very important, that it's not only important to produce videos, but to distribute videos, and not only to distribute it through, okay, today of course through the internet, but the point is that you distribute it in a collective environment. And I mean, you brought that Videobewegung, and of course, I mean, Ricky and I, we worked in the Videobewegung, and so part of our job was precisely to use those videos to engage debates. And it makes a huge difference whether you look those videos alone.
Collective screening.
Collective screening.
Yeah.
And it's more. It's not only the collective screening. You make an event out of it. Maybe you have a discussion. Maybe you have an exhibition. Maybe you invite a band. This is all what we did at Overbeck. And I think that was so in that sense it becomes a part of a broader discussion process. And you could see that discussion process is a part of the production process. So I think that's the key, for me that's the key moment. And here you have to, in a certain way, bring it back. So I think as this bookshop that is very new is an important meeting place. You also have to make, and usually you read books of course alone, but you need places where you exchange, where you have a collectivity. And the same is true for all sorts of videos and films. And to use it in this collective way. This is the only way to, you all this, now evoked Trump. So, what can we do to change the situation? We can only do it with collective action.
Another thing that I think was being done and maybe needs to be looked at, another way of doing, was taking unheard or marginalised voices to power by going out with the camera where the cameras never went, getting voices and then almost forcing people in a town hall or something, because they couldn't ignore it. You say that we just want to show this 15-minute video, and there were voices in the chamber that would never go there, that would never get heard, and it was a very simple process. And in a way, just people filming something and putting it up on Facebook to show it's the echo chamber thing, that's where you're missing that traction.
Okay. I'm going to make a short break now for the Trump-paid hotel ad.
Oh yeah.
So that because we have to go to the station now and to the airport, so that Nigg can accompany you to the station. Thank you very much again that you are here.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
But we will go on with discussion, I hope so, because I have some more questions. Yes, and I will come back.
Hochdeutsches können wir.
Ich meine, jetzt einfach, war schon damals völlig klar als Jugendlicher, aber ist es jetzt mir auch wieder bewusst geworden beim Machen dieses Buchs mit Heinz, wie wichtig sozusagen, aber auch auf eine gewisse Art und Weise, wie völlig selbstverständlich der Anteil weiblicher Protagonistinnen war in dieser Bewegung. Und da würde ich jetzt gerne ein paar Dinge von euch hören, ob es für euch auch so, eben einfach völlig selbstverständlich war, oder ob es, womit es zusammenhing, dass es so völlig selbstverständlich war.
Es war eben so ein neues Medium, das war noch nicht so besetzt, also von Männern nur. Aber es war natürlich schon immer auch ein technisches Medium, natürlich. Und da, ich weiß nicht, das hat mich dann weniger interessiert. Nicht so fest, aber trotzdem, es war einfacher, weil es eben noch nicht so besetzt war, denke ich.
Und trotzdem nicht so ein kompliziertes?
Trotzdem nicht kompliziert, ja, es war schon kompliziert, aber doch nicht so kompliziert. Also die Umsetzung, man konnte das Video machen und gleich nachher anschauen und so. Also das war auch ein Grund.
Und es war natürlich insofern ein geeignetes Medium. Es war insofern Video war damals auch ein geeignetes Medium, um eben die eigenen Geschichten erzählen zu können, oder? Also um schnell und auch unmittelbar andere Realitäten, also wenn es jetzt eben eine Frage ist der eine Geschlechterfrage ist, zu sagen, es gibt andere Realitäten und die sind ebenso wichtig. Und das konnte man mit Video relativ schnell und unkompliziert auch realisieren.
Ja, und ich denke auch eben außerhalb der persönlichen Geschichten war es ja eben gleich wie die 80er-Bewegung, Jugendbewegung zu porträtieren, auch ein gutes Medium, um die Frauenbewegung, die ja damals auch in sich sehr rasch entwickelt hatte, um eben diese zu porträtieren. Und das denke ich war eben mit Video auch naheliegend eigentlich.
Und findet ihr denn, dass das ohnehin in der Bewegung, in der politischen Bewegung damals auch so war, dass das so leicht war? Oder habt ihr euch durch das Medium Video jetzt quasi in der Videoszene leichter irgendwo reingebissen oder reinentfaltet oder so?
Also für mich war es, wir waren ja in Bern, das war ja noch interessant, wir waren ja 5 Frauen bei der Gründung dieses Videoladens, 5 Frauen und ich glaube 3 Männer, oder? Und da war eigentlich nicht zu Beginn diese Absicht, jetzt nur die Porträtierung oder das Zeigen der Entwicklung der Frauenbewegung, sondern wir haben uns einfach für das Medium interessiert und für die politische Bewegung, wie auch für die Häuserbesetzungen und so. Und das hat sich eigentlich dann erst mit der Zeit so entwickelt, dass die Frauen sich speziell dann sich dem Thema Frauenbewegung angenommen haben.
Aber euer Frauenland war eines der ersten Programme.
Ja.
Was?
Ja, aha, von Video, ja,
das war
genau.
79, also wirklich, wir haben kaum Geräte und das war der Alex, war das der erste Output?
Ja, das war mir gar nicht so bewusst. Aber eben nachher sind ja dann bei uns die Frauen sind dann rausgegangen. Das ist nicht überall genau gleich.
Ja, also in der Videogenossenschaft waren vor allem Männer. Ich bin dann, glaube ich, als erste oder zweite Frau dazugekommen und es waren vor allem. Es ist so geblieben, ein bisschen.
Anna Winterler war noch.
Anna Winterler, genau. Am Anfang. Käthe Walser und dann.
Ich denke, was wichtig war bei Beginn, das wurde ja nicht so theoretisiert, wie es jetzt heute oder reflektiert, sondern es war ein Mittel, das wir in den Händen hatten, um zu sagen, jetzt erzählen wir unsere Geschichten, oder? Und das war in dem Sinn nicht so, ich denke, nein, es war nicht strategisch, es war gelebt, oder? Also so wie das natürlich auch in anderen Bereichen, was die Frauenbewegung anbelangt. Es wurde gemacht und es war ein Medium, das tatsächlich möglich machte, diese Geschichten oder diese anderen Inhalte oder so zu erzählen.
Das war ja auch die Zeit, wo eben so der Slogan war, das Private ist politisch. Und das war ja eigentlich auch so was Neues damals.
Und gab es so quasi, wir haben ja vorhin auch über die Rezeptionszusammenhänge, oder über das Zusammenkommen, über das Mobilisieren durch Screenings und so, gab es denn auch frauenspezifische Vernetzungen oder Screenings oder so?
Ich finde das jetzt ich finde die Frage, die ist schon, geht von einer Vorstellung aus. Also das ist, klar gab es das, aber das war ein Alltag, der gelebt wurde. Und dann hat er halt vielleicht noch auf die Videoarbeit übergeschnappt, aber
Nein, ich wollte jetzt mehr fragen, ist es umgekehrt? Oder hat das Video auch mobilisiert zu solchen...
Klar. Ja. Das war dann natürlich ein Medium, um auch zu mobilisieren. Das ist...
Ich denke, das war eher sowas.
Das wäre ja in der Westschweiz und in Paris eine Generation für die Leute um Carol Soklos herum. Das war aber frühe 70er Jahre. Das war sehr militant. Erste Generation militanter feministischer Film und Video, beides zusammen. Und wenn ich noch nur wegen der Gruppen, denn die meisten Gruppen eher Männer dominiert, Hamburg oder was anderes, wie hießen die? Die Hamburger
Bildwechsel.
Genau, ja. Und das wäre ein Beispiel, das dort, glaube ich, das war eine taffe Frauengruppe, ich weiß nicht, ob die dann noch Männer hatten oder nicht, oder hat es auch gehabt, ja. Aber dort, das wäre das Gegenbeispiel.
Genau.
So die ist natürlich, aber immerhin ist es gegeben.
Die Frauen sind dann geblieben dann. Ja.
Was heißt?
Die sind dann geblieben, die Frauen sind da geblieben. Gibt es heute noch.
Ja.
Archivieren. Sie archivieren.
How was it in London? Is in London video working? I mean, Nigg also, while doing the book, Heinz told the story about his squatting woman, the one who was very, very important on centering this squatting movement videos. But how was the aspect between women and men there? Was it a equal movement, or is it was it a mainly male movement?
No, there was a lot of independent women's distribution, as well as production groups, right up until, well, really the whole scene changed when all the kind of funding for this kind of activity went away. But there's still Nova, Cinema Nova, who are distributing women's films. There was obviously a perceived need, obviously, for women's distribution. So I guess in the beginning, and I think maybe the exhibition showed that in the beginning there was a lot of men there, but that isn't really a reflection, a real reflection maybe of what was going on.
Also ich finde die Beziehung oder den Link zu heute interessant. Es gibt ja jetzt diese große Untersuchung angestoßen vom Filmgestalterverband zusammen mit dem BAK, also mit dem Bundesamt für Kultur, zu zeigen, wie ist der Anteil der Frauen in der Filmförderung, also wie viel geben ein und dann wie viel werden dann von den Eingegebenen gefördert und so. Ich denke, die Realität, das haben wir alle erlebt, oder? Jetzt ist es belegt mit Zahlen und jetzt wird etwas unternommen, oder? Also jetzt hat man wirklich den Eindruck, das geht nicht, oder? Es geht nicht, dass die Frauen einerseits bei den Projekten eingegeben werden, vielleicht habe ich jetzt die Zahl nicht ganz im Kopf, aber 70% der Projekte sind von Männern, 30% von Frauen und dann die realisiert werden, sind 80% Männer und 20% Frauen. Und die Frauen, die haben alle die tieferen Budgets, durchwegs, haben alle die tieferen Löhne und so. Und das hat es braucht eine Studie, um zu beweisen, dass dem so ist, was wir damals einfach so gesagt haben und so. Und das finde ich... Es zeigt einfach, es braucht unglaublich viel Zeit und es braucht dann irgendwann ebenso eine wissenschaftlich unterlegte Studie, damit sich dann vielleicht etwas ändert. Was ich denke, es ist sehr schön, dass sich was ändert, oder hoffen wir darauf.
Und ein Zeitgeist, der diese Anliegen auch aufnimmt.
Genau.
Wieder. Also dass man in den 90er Jahren war es nicht möglich, mit feministischen Forderungen zu kommen. Weil das war dann gegessen, das war dann die Zeit eben der Selbstverständlichkeit und so. Also, und jetzt ist es wieder möglich.
Genau.
Und es jetzt netterweise auch die Männer.
Genau.
Das ist toll. Genau.
Gut, aber gleichzeitig braucht es auch die Frauen, die dann die Selbstermächtigung machen, oder?
Aber das ist schon, also dieser Wandel, das finde ich interessant und so. Und ich schaue es jetzt ein bisschen aus Distanz und denke, wow, schön, dass sich das jetzt verändert hat. Aber also wir haben da, denke ich, ganz viele, Vorarbeit oder wir haben vielleicht einen anderen Teppich versucht auszulegen. Also wir haben einfach gemacht. So. Immer noch hier, also ich jetzt...
Immer noch, immer noch.
Entschuldigung.
Auf jeden Fall. Ja.
Gut. Wollt ihr sonst?
Vielleicht ist da eine Frage.
Ja,
also
wollt ich auch fragen. Wollt ihr noch über dieses Thema sprechen? Weil sonst, glaube ich, hören wir jetzt auf damit und legen auch noch was anderes drüber. Danke vielmals.
Thank you for listening. For further information on the bookshop and upcoming events, please check out our website neverstopreading.com.